to Joe's Atmosphere.
Cook your shrimp, please. All of a sudden, my shrimp pan is burning up like a smoke fest.
Okay. All right, boys and girls, welcome aboard for State of the Atmosphere tonight, a show where we talk about pop culture stuff. First tonight, we're going to talk about Blue Beetle. Didn't do too well at the box office. It did unseat Barbie, but as far as box office hits, not so much. We'll discuss that movie. Plus, we'll also talk about Ahsoka, which I've lost the damn thumbnail for. I can't believe this. Sometimes these things screw up big time. But we're going to talk about Ahsoka. And when we're done with that, we're going to talk about the video games in the IGN Top 100 list, if we have time. All that and more tonight on State of the Atmosphere. All right, guys, welcome aboard to State of the Atmosphere. I'm your host, Joe's Atmosphere, and it's good to see you this fine Wednesday, hump day. And as usual, I've got my usual court of jesters, starting with Knock. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
You might see a little difference in Knock there. He's got a brand new piece of machinery he's playing with, a full-blown computer.
Yeah, got a new PC, new camera, new mic, testing it out. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it looks good, man. And also we got John Das Wolfen in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not a lot. Nothing new over here. So,
dude, I actually got John to do something he didn't want to do live on friggin' Baldur's Gate today, and it disturbed all of us. It really did. Oh man, that was nasty, bro. Next time, I'm just gonna let you go about your business. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And of course, we got Matt, the best backup in the league. Speaking of backups, man, we're coming up against it, man. We got less than 2 weeks left before we do our first show. Yeah, man.
Yep.
You guys better pay attention in the preseason. Get your picks ready because we're going to be picking all the divisions, the two wild cards. Me and Knock did this last year. The two wild card teams and the Super Bowl winners, who we think is going to make it out of the whole tournament. So get those predictions ready here for a couple weeks from now. But anyway, we've already got my man Kristen DeLorme's already in here. It's good to see you, man. Something new with John. He is wasting away to nothing. Yeah. and he's doing it on purpose. He's actually the operation he had is working out exactly the way he wanted it. And he's looking good. You're looking great, John. How far away from your target are you?
About 72 pounds.
Really? Damn, dude. That was in the hundreds a while ago.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing, dude. You should be proud of yourself, man. I'm sure it can't be fun, though. I mean, you're not eating a lot of stuff you like, I'm sure. Because I know I quit all that whenever I got diagnosed with diabetes. But just a real quick note, guys. This is all about pop culture stuff on this show, but we do have to mention this because it's kind of pop culture. It has to do with storytelling and whatnot. Those of you that are big wrestling fans, we got some bad news this afternoon. WWE legend Terry Funk died at 79 years old today. He's one of the highest regarded professional wrestlers in history. Died at 79 years old. Terry Funk had a career that spanned all the way from 1965, that's the year I was born, to 2017, with a 14-month reign as the NWA champion, the 10 pounds of gold, one of the most prestigious belts ever, world champion, at a time when this was the unified national title against amongst a number of regional territories that began in 1975. Yeah, when he was the NWA champ, that was basically the WWE champ. It was the guy. He was one of the pioneers of the hardcore style of wrestling and was universally considered by wrestling fans and workers in the business as a consummate professional. 79 years old, that's a full life, man.
Yep.
I personally am a big fan myself. I do know that a couple of the panelists, I know Knox not much into wrestling, but I do know that John watches it and Matt watches it. Were you a fan of Terry's? I was. I thought he was great. I really did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He of course he was in Roadhouse, one of my
Yep.
favorite movies.
Yes.
I can remember as a kid though, like he wasn't always in the biggest promotions, like he wasn't always in WCW or WWF. But even so, you would this is pre-internet, you would still hear about him.
Yeah.
And hear about his exploits, and whether it's seeing it at a wrestling magazine or just hear your friends tell you about him or
That's
whatever.
where I saw him, was in a wrestling magazine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he kind of had a mythic quality about him too, back in the day.
Yeah, he had a short movie career. I mean, I saw him in a couple of other ones, but Roadhouse is the one everybody remembers him from, because he's the one that's given. I think he's one of the first guys that old Dalton fires in that one, right? He's one of the first security guys he fires there at that bar, right?
Yeah.
He was one of the greats, man. He will be missed, no doubt about it. Anybody who was into Ric Flair knows who that guy is, because they had some epic bouts against each other.
His brother wrestled, his dad wrestled.
Yep. He was something else. He was a big dude too. My gosh, he was a big man. But anyway, so first up tonight, I had to re-download it. What is with StreamYard's dumping pictures after you've already uploaded them? What'll happen is I'll leave, and whatever the last picture is I put in, it won't be there when I come back. That's what happened. This picture right here is what I was looking for, right here. But we're going to talk about that secondary. Tonight, we're going to start with Blue Beetle, how it did over the weekend, and we've got a couple of panelists that have seen it, get their thoughts on it. Me personally, I wasn't in a big hurry to go see this. First of all, and it's partly Warner Brothers' fault, because they basically said that, this is part of the Snyderverse. It's over for that. They're moving on with the Gunverse, or whatever you want to call it, and they're doing something different. Now, there was rumors that he was going to keep this character in the Gunverse. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. John, do you know anything about that?
Well, that was what was said.
Yeah.
But James Gunn says a lot of things.
He says a lot of things. Yeah, he does. I mean,
it might have been the case of just keeping it open, and then let's see how this movie does.
Right.
That's how it's doing. Well,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it made $1 billion,
yeah, they'd want to keep him around, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these last two movies and the Flash movie, the one just before it, the DC universe, it's a clear indicator that nobody's interested in these, because, and I don't think it has anything to do with superhero fatigue. I really don't. I think it's the fact that Warner Brothers, they're going to get some normies go see this stuff, but Warner Brothers has basically made these. It's kind of like the last year of an eighth year presidency. He's kind of null and void at that point. You know what I mean?
Lame duck.
You really don't care what the lame duck's got to say, So I think that's more of the problem.
One thing we've learned with James Gunn is, for so many years with celebrities, we're always like, we want genuine people. We want people to say whatever they're thinking. Yeah. With James Gunn, if I'm his boss, I don't want him to say whatever he's thinking.
No, I don't.
Talking.
No, that's gotten him in trouble in the past. Yes, no doubt.
I think that's currently getting Rachel Ziegler in trouble right now.
Yes, it is. Big time.
He contradicts himself all the time.
Yeah, he does.
And,
Well, what James Gunn said is Blue Beetle is the first character,
Okay.
not first actor, first character in the new DC universe.
Okay. So all that means is that the Blue Beetle will be in some of the movies that he's going to make, whether or not it's going to be this kid, who I hear is a good actor. I have not. This is. I mean, you guys are probably going to slam me for this, but I have not seen any of the Cobra Kai show. I hear he's good in it. I don't really know. I haven't watched any of it. You
Neither
guys
have I.
Yeah.
I've watched the whole series. I keep up with it every time it drops on Netflix. It was on YouTube. It started on YouTube and then Netflix
right,
picked
and then it
up.
moved to Netflix, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And from what I hear, it's a great show.
It's got Ralph Macchio. It's got all the characters in it, and they do
Right.
a good amount of flashbacks in them too, where they go back in the past a little bit, and they bring a lot of characters back from the original movies. So it's great.
But I think this kid's star is on the rise, from what I understand, and from the success of Cobra Kai, I think that's why you got this part here.
Yeah, he starts out as the scrawny kid, and then he turns into a martial arts guy.
Yep.
Winner.
Okay. Sounds like Daniel-san to me. Sounds like
Yeah.
that. But
yeah, and he owns a car shop now. Car dealer.
Does he? Okay. Yeah. Well, the box office wasn't kind to it. It made $25.4 million this weekend. It posted the lowest domestic openings among any title in the DC Extended Universe. But it did knock Barbie off the number one pedestal, which it's been on for how many weeks now?
4.
So I guess that's a Pyrrhic victory, I guess you'd call that.
I heard someone
that's definitely the.
I don't know if it's true or not, but that like maybe the last 7 DCEU movies or 6 out of the last 7, something like that, have not made money.
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
Again, that's excluding Joker and certain other DC characters, but
Joker's an odd case because they didn't want anything to do with Joker, and they just let him make the movie, but they didn't throw any money into it. It was all done by what's his name, the director and his
Todd
producers.
Phillips.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Todd Phillips, and it's like, well, we'll let you use the character, but we don't, we're not gonna tie it to anything. And turn around, the movie makes $1 billion.
Yeah. Wow. What a fuck up. I mean, people have called Warner the stupidest movie studio on the planet. They've named them that many times, and that's just another case of just being retarded. You got to get a piece of that action. You know what I mean? Anything with the Joker's name on it's going to make money. That's just friggin'.
I mean, even if you set aside DC, Warner Brothers just has so many great properties.
Yeah.
In their wheelhouse, Harry Potter. I mean, there's probably 10 other things like that. But
wait until that streaming series starts. When they start, you heard about this, right? They're going to do the books. They're going to do a book a season and make it a streaming series with a whole new cast and everything. Warner Brothers is going to do that. I hadn't
heard that. I thought they were doing like the formation of the houses with the 4 original.
Really?
That's what I heard.
Wow. Okay. I heard that they were doing the books, 1 per season. That's what I had heard. I read it somewhere. I'll have to look it up. E. Clay Thomas is in the house. It's good to see you, brother. Thanks for watching. But yeah,
I had a lot of fun with the video game too.
The video game.
Yeah, the Harry Potter video game. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you have to play the video game because it's
a lot of people were playing that. Dude, that was my daughter's jam. I'm really not into it myself,
well, it's just an open world game with instead of guns, you have a wand. Like it's literally just it's got all the RPG aspects on it. It's got the level up system. It's open world. You fly around, broom, and that's your transportation mode. And you have fast travel, and it's just like any other open world, but it's Harry Potter. But the way they did the castle was. It's just right. I haven't done the Griffin too much. I think I just got to that point, and I haven't played it in a while. But no, it's cool because and that game, like you knew that those creators of that game took it from the book, and they illustrated that in a lot of there's a lot of videos out there where you have the English guy that reads the books on audio. Can't remember his name top of my head, but he does the audiobook for all of the books, and he's reading it off in the overhead, but they're showing the video game as he's reading the pages off the book, and he's describing the scene, and they're walking in the game, showing him what he's describing. Like that's how drawn from the book it is. Like all the it's like a corridor or the stairs or how it's, how it looks, and it's so cool how much they took from the actual book and created that castle.
Well, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Even the classes feel like classes from books.
Really? Wow. I mean, it looked like an immersive game. It really did. The gameplay that I saw on YouTube.
That was definitely a game that made fans happy. For sure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had the memes where it was like, oh, everybody just killing everybody.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, the stuff that I'm seeing about it looks like it's something that I might enjoy. I mean, it looks like it might be something that I could go see and enjoy. You two have seen it. John, I'll start with you. You're a big fan of the character. I knew you were a little upset about this being the third version that they started with instead of the original guy.
So the second guy's my favorite.
Yeah.
Is the Ted Cord Blue Beetle. He's the one that came from that DC imported from Charlton Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a fan. I was a fan of his from Charlton Comics.
Okay.
I used to get those comics in the spinner racks.
Yeah.
And I was reading that Captain Atom, Nightshade, Peacemaker, all before DC got a hold of them.
Yeah. So what did you think of the movie?
Well, I went into it not expecting much.
Mm-hmm.
But I was pleasantly surprised. It was actually enjoyable. It was a little heavy-handed in places as far as the some of the messaging.
Mm-hmm.
But the acting's pretty good in it, except for one or two characters. And surprisingly, I enjoyed George Lopez. And I can't stand.
Yeah, he got a lot of flack because of the trailer, because the Batman line and everything. But I don't know. I'm a fan of his as far as his stand up and everything. So I thought, hey, you'd be probably pretty cool.
But they didn't do what I thought they were going to do, and so make sure you stay till after the video credits before they start listing all the
there's a mid credit, and then there's a post credit scene.
Yeah. Okay.
The first thing I do after a movie ends is I take out my phone and say, how many credits does this movie have?
Yeah.
And they're right about it. They're like 1 or 2, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
Turn the phone off. Keep watching the screen. They don't leave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But as far as being a huge Blue Beetle fan, you were satisfied or unsatisfied in the first attempt to do a Blue Beetle movie? What do you think?
I would say I'm satisfied because it isn't my Blue Beetle per se.
Right.
It's Jaime Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
And but I like Jaime Reyes. I don't hate him. That's like I'm a Spider-Man fan. I got no problem with Miles Morales. He's a good Spider-Man. Yeah. I dig him, but Peter Parker's my Spider-Man, right? Yeah. And that's how you feel about the Blue Beetle, right?
Miles Morales is a good person in a Spider-Man suit.
In a Spider-Man suit, yes. He's not Spider-Man, though. Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
No. Christian Bale is my Batman.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. Yeah. But, okay, so, Knock, you not knowing anything about the character, what was your take on it?
I thought it was cool. I thought the armor looked really cool. I like that he could do the different kinds of weapons, kind of Green Lantern style-ish.
Mm-hmm.
More... so that was pretty cool. I like the really big sword that he used at one point. Was that a Final Fantasy sword there? Did he do a cross slash in one of the scenes, John? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It was supposed to look like the typical JRPG sword.
Okay, kind of like a berserk, just a berserk.
Yeah.
Sword. Okay, I wasn't sure if there was something there. Probably region, but no, I thought the fight scenes were pretty cool. I thought the technology that they were messing with was kind of cool because you have to have the evil corporation. George Lucas made it for me. Like as far as the comedy in it goes, George Lucas was great, and he was cracking me up the whole movie. He's a very anti-establishment, there's cameras everywhere kind of guy. That's what he plays in this one.
Yeah. So he's a Hispanic Alex Jones.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but sure. But he definitely was the comedy in this movie for sure. And then you're right. The main guy, I like him, and from Cobra Kai. So that was one of the main reasons I went and saw it, was because I definitely want to support him.
The grandma is awesome.
For me, that was
awesome.
Yeah, she was a little much for me, but I it's hard to complain about that one. But yeah, the whole family has their moments, except for the sister. She kind of sucks, but
yeah, she does.
It was it was cool. All the family members were. They definitely tried to make this more of like a whole family thing, and at times it was a little cringy, but they were definitely pushing the family narrative on this one.
Right, and I got to tell you, I'm not surprised by that, because if any of you know anything about the Hispanic culture, it's very family oriented. I'm not surprised they did that at all.
Yeah, and it kept throughout the whole movie too. Like it was throughout the whole movie. It was, we're together in this thing. So it was different. I'm not used to that. Kind of stuff. Not that I have any issues with my family, but they're like all really really close knit.
Yeah,
kind of deal. They're all going through the hardships together, kind of deal. So
the kid that plays Jaime Reyes is it Zolo? Is that how you pronounce that?
I guess.
I would assume so.
Let me blow it up a little bit, guys. Zolo Maraduna? Maraduna? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. But
your guess is as good as mine.
Right. I'm just going to call him Zolo.
I'm pretty sure someone in the movie calls him Jamie too.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Ivy.
Yeah, that's when he goes into Cord Towers to try and track down the girl, and because she said to come see him to get a job, and the receptionist is like, "Okay, Jamie, it's Jaime."
It's Jaime, yeah.
Jamie, just have a seat over there.
Clay Thomas says Sholo. But yeah, I had heard, and you guys confirm or deny it, I had heard that the family portion was there, but some of the family members were really cringe. I heard you mention the sister, Knock, that got on your nerves a little bit, right?
Yeah, a lot.
But she had that that, and I actually, I mentioned it before, I actually like this actress, but she had that Aquafina feel.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That was her. She, very sarcastic and trying to make fun of the brother all the time. But
she'd be on my nerves too, then, bro.
That's no doubt about that. That was her role in that one to me.
I will say this: the stuff, because they don't have actual Ted Cord Blue Beetle in the movie. Well, technically they don't. You do see his costume. The costumes they have a display of the costumes. They're comic accurate. Bug, his ship, is comic accurate.
Yeah,
they had all his weapons and stuff in in Iraq. They're all comic accurate. So somebody on that set paid attention to the comic.
Yeah, somebody dug the comic. Well, I mean, it's, how do I put this? He's one of those obscure characters, I guess you'd say, that has a cult following. It's him and Booster Gold end up together at some point in the comic books, don't they? Something like that. What is their team name anyway?
Well, they don't have a team name.
Yeah,
they're just buddies. They're
and I know you've wanted to see Booster Gold on the big screen for a long time. Yeah.
Well, I'll take small screen even. It's
right. Just give me something, right? Throw me a bone. Yeah. We see them all the time in DCUO, man. They sell booster bundles. I mean, dude, he sells everything in the game, man. He does. Let's see. E. Clay Thomas says it should have been called Dung Beetle, but I don't think this movie was made for me. Well, This is one of the things why Paulie's probably really behind it a lot. He's got a lot. It's probably a lot of people he knows worked on this movie because it was a Hispanic director, a Hispanic cast. Um, uh, some were trying to call it the the Black Panther of the Hispanic culture. This movie, and I was like, nah, I'm not getting that feel off the the highlights or anything.
Maybe
like
if there
that.
was like an Aztec, like force field that there was a whole hidden civilization,
right?
Then maybe it would have been the Black Panther of
right, but yeah, it's not
something like that.
This came off to me like it was kind of like Spider-Man. It was a guy that got powers by accident, and how does he deal with it, kind of thing. Yeah, it looked pretty cool to me. But I'm probably going to go see it probably on a Tuesday when I've got nothing better to do. But it's not one I was in a hurry to go see because I just don't know the character. I really don't.
Well, it's refreshing that it's not 3 hours, so that's cool.
That's nice. Yeah. That's
a
nice.
A lot of the movies I've been seeing in theaters lately have been 3 hours.
Yeah, they're all 3 hours long, right? Man. Oh, God,
I usually like a longer movie, but Jesus.
Yeah, I hear you.
I look at it and I'm like, oh, I can actually, do other things in the day.
Right. But they're not breaking new ground with this movie, though. I don't think. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but from everybody who's not one of these haters, has said that it's not breaking new ground. It actually robs from a couple of different types of superhero movies and points, and not necessarily robs, but it has a lot of the same situations in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like there's only so many different comic characters you can have. They just
right,
or at least backstories that you can have without them all being tragic.
That sort of shows you where. That sort of shows you where we are. It was projected to make $25 million domestically, and that's what it did.
That's what it made. That's what it made. That's kind of eerie, isn't it?
I don't know why they think that. Like whenever they reboot everything, I hope they don't think that just magically they're going to make $1 billion off the first rebooted movie.
Yeah,
it may take a while to get that audience trust.
Yeah, their first rebooted movie is Superman, so. If any of them's going to make $1 billion out the gate, it's
going to be that one. And this is my problem with them doing Superman first. Man, guys, if they blow this, DC fans will turn their back on it. They will. Yeah. People say that Marvel is a bunch of hardcore fans. No, the people that are just vicious are the DC fans. If you don't do what they like, they are going to be on you like crazy. You know what I mean? Hell, the Snyderverse proved that. When Batman was killing people wholesale in Dawn of Justice, them DC fans lost their minds, man. They were like, what? What are you doing, And whereas guys like me and my brother, I enjoyed, Dawn of Justice. It had its problems, but I liked Man of Steel. I like Dawn of Justice. I'm not a Snyderverse apologist or anything. It had problems. Both of them did, but I liked a lot of the stuff they did in it. The thing I loved about Man of Steel is they did what the guy that wrote the book wanted to do, was make a Jesus figure as a superhero. That's what, what he wrote Superman to be. You know what I mean? A force for good that was like Jesus, only in a superhero form. And I thought that was cool as shit the way Snyder portrayed that in Man of Steel. But a lot of people didn't like, the trying to find himself thing and the dark tones to it and everything, which, Superman's much more vivid color and, much more, I almost want to say Kirby-esque as far as comic books go, because there's a lot more, hope to it. I mean, there's a reason why when we play DCUO, you go to Metropolis, it's always daytime. You go to freaking Gotham, it's always nighttime, okay? And half the time it's raining. It's a dreary freaking town, yeah, I mean, if they screw up Superman, that fan base is going to turn on him, and all his plans he'll have to throw out the window until he fixes that right there,
Oh, and he won't be able to. He'll be bounced out. That'll be his. He won't get, because he's only there for 2 years.
Right.
That's it.
He's basically overseeing the new thing they're going to do, right? And You know,
well, he's got to prove himself. I mean, they'll extend his contract if he does well.
You're talking. You're saying he has to prove himself to the production company. Is that what you're saying?
To Zaslav, and actually,
okay, yeah.
You know, he has to show. You know, show that you know, he can turn a profit with these movies.
Well, while we're on the subject, and I've heard this subject come up quite a bit with these superhero movies making less and less money. Do you think that they need to stop worrying about making connected franchises and just get back to making good individual movies? Thoughts on that? Because James Gunn decided when he came out, he said it was going to be like a 10-year plan, and he had this whole list of properties he wanted to do. And I mean, do you really want to do it that way? I mean, Marvel gave them a game plan, but they didn't even follow that shit. You know what I mean? With the Snyderverse, they didn't even follow it. Yeah. They were very reactionary. That Superman versus Batman was supposed to be Man of Steel Part 2. Right? And then they just shoved every character in the Justice League in it, and they threw a friggin' cave troll. I mean, Doomsday in there too, and just, I mean, they really messed it up.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
that was a waste.
That was a bad move. You know, I mean, well, I don't think it was a bad move. I think Snyder really doesn't understand the character, because I'm sure Eisenberg was playing the way, Snyder told him to play it.
Or the way he was used, I think, was a waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like Eisenberg. I haven't seen many movies I didn't like him in,
Has anybody really gotten Lex Luthor 100% right? Again, I watch more of the Marvel stuff than DC, but I mean,
you guys are gonna laugh at me. The guy that's come the closest is on one of the worst TV shows ever, Supergirl. That guy that played, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in Pretty in Pink back in the day, right? And he was on 2.5 Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's really good as Lex Luthor, dude. He is really good.
Yeah, he's completely arrogant, and
he lets you know he's the smartest man on the planet, and there's nobody smarter than him, and you're never going to beat him. He's Earth's Superman. He lets you know that shit, He
did a good job of playing the straight man in 2.5 Men.
Yeah, he did. But I'm telling you, you haven't seen him like this. Watch those episodes with him in them, and this is towards the end of Supergirl when it got really stupid. The whole CW verse got really dumb there at the end. After, I would tell anybody that wants to watch that stuff, you need to watch everything in CW up to the Crisis on Infinite Earths. After that, don't watch any more of it, because they did not need to do anything else after that. No. It was a good crossover. It has
been kind of rough trying to catch up with those shows.
Oh my God, they're horrible after that.
There's no real prospect. I think my favorite of all those shows is Legends of Tomorrow, though.
Legends of Tomorrow. That's the one that's a check your brain at the door show. Don't do too much thinking on that show right there.
Yeah, they just do random shit on that stuff.
Yeah, it's just random craziness. Yeah.
By the way, Joe, Helen Slater was only like 18 or 19 whenever they initially cast her for Supergirl.
Yeah.
And they had her go train. I think she said she went to London and trained for like 4 months before the shooting, as far as like swimming, weightlifting, whatever they could do to get a little bit of muscle on her.
Yeah.
And because the interview, actually, was Michael Rosenbaum, the Lex Luthor from Smallville. He's got a podcast, and he asked her if she was intimidated when she met Peter O'Toole and Faye Dunaway to work with them when she's like 19.
Mm-hmm.
And she said no, because I'd been training for 4 months. She said she already felt like Supergirl by the time they did the first scene.
Wow, so, man!
Actors don't get that kind of time now in most cases.
No, they don't. Let's see. Low Spec is here. The Penguin is in the house. E. Thomas, you're absolutely correct. Snyder fans are nutso. They absolutely are. And he says, have they cast the new Superman? Yes, they already have. God almighty, let me pull that up for you. Hang on.
So before we go too far away from Blue Beetle, So it looks like it cost around $100 million to make. So it wasn't a terribly expensive movie, like terribly expensive. And worldwide, it's made $50 million so far. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a good. It got good ratings. So I'm hoping that in the second weekend it'll get a nice little boost, hopefully, or at least stay consistent and not drop off too much. And so, like, if it could get just a little bit better and then stay consistent a couple weeks, maybe get it to 200, 300 mil.
It's got mixed.
That's a win.
Yeah, it's got mixed word of mouth, for sure. I've heard good things about it and bad things about it, but nothing that makes me think I don't want to see it. Okay, I haven't heard anything that would repel me from seeing it. Okay.
Yeah, and there hasn't been any like political shit, stemming from it as far as I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
to answer your question, E. Clay Thomas, have they cast the new Superman? Yes, they've actually cast Lois and Superman. This is the guy that's going to play Superman. His name is.
I dig the jawline.
Yeah, the jawline works.
Doesn't he look like Tom Welling?
David Cornsweet is the guy's name, and that's got to be his real name because nobody would use the name Cornsweet.
Is he from?
That's cool, right?
Is he from the Midwest or something like that? It's got.
Let's find out.
Kind of a mixture of Henry Cavill and.
I'm pretty sure he's British.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. British too. Always taking our good jobs.
Right.
Yeah, sort of like a merger of Tom Welling and Henry Cavill.
Yep. Let me pull it up on IMDb real quick, guys. Hang on. Let's see. Boom.
British guy coming over with his American accent. Freaking regular Tom Holland.
Dude, the Brits have invaded this place. I mean, come on. That's just the way it is. Get over it. I don't want to sign in. Go away.
Yeah, everybody's British in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, everybody in Baldur's Gate's got a British accent. It's ridiculous, man. Wow, it's ridiculous. This guy was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow, he's American.
Okay.
July 8th, 1993. Yes, sir.
All right.
That's him. He was born in 1993
in Philadelphia,
Pennsylvania, USA. He's an actor and a writer.
Known for Pearl, Leo in the City, and I haven't seen any of those.
None of these things have I seen. None of them. But the guy's got the jawline, no doubt about it. Looks like he could use a sandwich or two, though. He does look like he could use that.
He'll have to bulk up.
I'm sure he's bulking up as we speak. You know what I mean? So.
Well, and he's tall, so that will make it easier for him to bulk up.
Most definitely. Yeah, you need a tall guy to play that part. But I'm not gonna run out and see Blue Beetle, but if me and the wife are bored, we might pay to go see it before it gets out of theaters. If not, I'll watch it. I've got Max. I'll watch it when it comes on Max. It's not one I got to run out and see because like I said, no offense to you, John, but I don't know the character, man. I really don't.
I would even see if you could go like during the week and catch like a matinee or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you go on Tuesday on Dollar Day or what?
Yeah.
And I work 9 hours on Tuesday during the day. So.
Well, that's the cheapest day, but you can still go in the afternoon and on any other day, and it'll be cheap.
Yeah.
Less than $10.
Yeah. So that I think we're pretty much putting a bow on Blue Beetle. We'll see what
I've heard it's middle of the road, not the best, not the worst.
Right.
Just a average superhero movie.
I would have to say I wouldn't get mad at anyone that went and saw it in theaters. I think it's a good movie to see in a theater, but I wouldn't blame anyone that wants to wait until it's out.
Well, because of the nature of the suit and everything. Yeah, I kind of want to see that on big screen. This is one that I'd be willing to pay to go see on the big screen.
Yeah, especially you can get like a cheaper ticket.
And Marvel has a Beetle character. I don't know that he's ever been in live action though, but Marvel does have a Beetle.
Do they?
Yeah,
I think he's just called like Beetle or the Beetle.
He's an Iron Man villain.
Is he? Another one of those suits of armor guys, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. The next thing we got on the agenda tonight, I'm sure Knock is chomping at the bit to talk about. I'm sure Matt's chomping at the bit to talk about. Ahsoka hit our small screens this week. Of course, they call them small screens, but they get pretty big these days. I personally watched it on a 55-incher myself, but I know people get a lot bigger ones. But yeah, Ahsoka. We got to see the first 2 episodes, and I wanted to talk about that tonight. Let's see. One of the reviews I saw was this one, and I think this pretty much sums up everything I've read about it. Ahsoka review: Disney's fluffy new Star Wars series starring Rosario Dawson is the anti-Andor. And basically what they're talking about when they're saying that is this one isn't as dark as Andor was. Now, if you watched Andor, I believe it was it 12 episodes or was it 9? I think it was 12.
I think it was 12.
Yeah. It was long, but I think I remember Knox saying it took him a while to get into it. He was bored with it.
I was almost done at episode 5. I was almost done. And then season 6, episode 6 is when they went into the bureaucracy of the Empire. And I was immediately interested, and it changed the whole thing. And then it went into the prison break, and everything just kind of really picked up for me. So
you got to see a lot about that stuff, man. It was pretty neat. It was really neat stuff.
Except for when the guy's mom yelled at him while he ate cereal.
I kept expecting him to kill his mother, man. I really did. I thought he was going to kill her by the end of the series.
You thought a Norman Bates situation was...
Oh, my God, it was. It was like watching an episode of Psycho or something like that. You remember the television series that they put out of Psycho?
Oh, yeah, the one that from a few years ago?
Yes. Oh, my God. That's what I thought we were going to see. I thought
that kid went on to do, or maybe in the same, may have overlapped. He did The Good Doctor, which I never really saw.
But he played Norman Bates as a kid. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyway, I so thought that he was going to kill his mom. I was on board with it too. But anyway, getting back to Ahsoka. Now Knock got me this video to show you guys, and I'm gonna show you this. This is something, and they had an opening scroll to this thing. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, we're gonna talk spoilers. So you might want to tune out until I show the video game package with the when you see this, we're done talking spoilers, okay, guys? So just be warned now. If you haven't seen Ahsoka, we're going to talk about it, okay?
And we'll get to that at 7:25.
Huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. It's 7:25. 5 minutes before we get out of here. That's when we're going to talk about it.
We're talking Star Wars, and there's a pretty good chance of that.
There's a good chance that may happen. E. Clay Thomas says Disney could have made a lot of money selling cereal. Just saying. Yeah, no doubt. That's good, man. That's good. Okay, so this video right here, let me... I'm going to have to stop sharing and redo this so that we can see this. And this is somebody else's channel, so I don't really want to... I'm going to put it in my special video screen. But I thought they needed to do something like this, kind of a Lord of the Rings recap of the Rebels stuff. And this is one of the reviews that Knox said he watched. And this
and I would recommend this guy if you guys want to see some Easter egg stuff. This is about a half-hour long video.
Yeah, hang on. I'll put a link up to the video here in a second when we're done watching it, okay? But I believe it's right here.
4 minutes, exactly.
4 minutes? Okay, we'll go a couple of seconds.
Money-back guarantee. Now, back to Ahsoka. I'm going to sum up Star Wars Rebels for you very quickly. So that show followed a small rebel cell called the Spectres in the years before A New Hope. Ahsoka, who had survived the Jedi Purge, was the handler for this cell, handing them assignments from the greater Rebel Alliance leaders. The Spectres consisted of characters we see on this show like Hera and Sabine Wren, also Zeb, who cameoed in The Mandalorian, the droid Chopper, and a former Padawan named Kanan Jarrus and his new apprentice, Ezra. And the series ends with Ezra facing off against Imperial Grand Admiral Thrawn using hyperspace traveling whales called the Purgil to whisk them off to parts unknown. In Season 2 of The Mandalorian, Din Djarin helped Ahsoka Tano capture Morgan Elsbeth, leading to this question.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
So Thrawn is one of the greatest Star Wars villains ever, coming originally from the books, appearing in Rebels, and launching his own excellent canon novels. And remember, in The Mandalorian...
Okay, so that little bit of information right there would have helped my wife out. No doubt.
Yeah.
normies would have helped them out. It really would have. I really think, first of all, that scroll at the beginning of it. Come on, why don't they just do the fucking scroll? I don't understand. Why can't you do that? It would have made it so much more epic.
Well, I did see some other stuff on it. They actually went to the red scroll straight up at the end of Clone Wars. It was to signify the dark times of the universe, the Star Wars
Gotcha.
universe. And Dave Filoni really likes that effect, so he brought it back.
So
this wasn't as evil, but it's still somber.
Right.
So he kept it red.
I got you.
That's kind of his stamp.
Okay. Well, let's see. What I thought of the first episode, of course, I have gleaned all this knowledge from you guys, but they did make it easy to pick up that there was something really off about the relationship between Sabine and Ahsoka. But I didn't like the cliche of, here's this person to talk about this person, and they don't even show up. And that they've done that so many times in so many different movies. You know what I mean? When Sabine was supposed to come out and talk to the crowd about the statue and everything, I was like, come on, man. Do they have to do this again? There
were some cliches in there.
Yeah, there was some cliches in there. But the one thing I dug about it, broad stroke that I really dug, guys, okay, it felt like Star Wars. The music sounded like a Star Wars fucking movie, man.
Yep.
That was really cool. I thought the soundtrack enhanced it. I love all the ships and stuff they showed in it. I thought they, as much as we bitch about the CGI they've been doing lately, they sold out on this one. It looked really good. So,
well, that and
and you haven't even seen the Ghost yet.
Yeah, the Ghost. Okay,
that's the ships. That's the ship that Rebels. That's the Rebels. That's Hera's ship. Is Ghost.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess what we saw at one point, maybe it's the second episode, that was like the secondary ship that launches off the Ghost, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's the little shuttle that
the one she was chasing.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Here again, if they'd have showed me that the droid was one of the characters from fucking Rebels, I wouldn't have been laughing at the fact that the droid did a super whip move to fucking throw a tracking device. That was really just goofy as shit. I was like, why can't you just shoot it at it with a fucking gun or something, man?
You have to have a little bit of
gotta have the droid involved.
No, wait, the droid voiced by David Tennant, although it's not easy to tell.
No, that's the other one. That's the other one. We're talking about Chopper.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the one that's the one that looks more like a protocol droid.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it Chopper that threw the disc?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did his head did a spin move and he had his arms underneath it. He was like, don't through it. But I thought that was stupid until I saw this video that Nocto showed me. I didn't know the droid was a character in the show.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. He did his part, right? He's one of the team, right?
Chopper's a psychopath.
Yeah,
he really
seems
is.
like
he's
it. Yeah,
murdered a lot.
He's got a huge body count.
He really does. He's straight up. He has straight up pushed other droids off the ship because he was jealous of them.
Yeah, But I thought they did a good. They did all right trying to tell a story where there's backstory to it. You can tell. And God love him, man. Ray Stevenson, we lost a talent, dude, because that guy is impressive in this show. He is. I mean, he's got very few lines, but he's the strong silent type once again in this show. And he's just,
I've been a fan of his since Rome. That was when I first, discovered him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my favorite shows of all time. One of my favorite shows of all time. And
I just like how the Punisher movie he's in. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about any, any sentimental value that you have about life. It's just, hey, the Punisher, he's going to kill bad people. That's what this
he's going
about.
To kill bad people. Yeah, and that movie, it's borderline friggin' trauma movie. You know what I'm saying? It was not. I think it was
maybe like a Lionsgate, but
right.
But not. It was not one of the top 2 or 3 big studios that did it.
But out of all the guys that have played the Punisher, he looks like he was ripped right out of the comic books, man. He really does. I mean,
he's got the size.
He's got the size and the actions, the look. I mean, it's just, he's amazing as the Punisher in that movie. Even though it's a bad movie overall, but you know what? I'd watch it again and again because he's great as Frank Castle, man. It really is. Yep. But and he's great in this. And it's becoming obvious that those two are Sith, no doubt.
They're not.
I think they are.
They're not. Absolutely not. They are absolutely not Sith.
Okay.
They are absolutely not Sith.
They're hinting they are because they dropped the whole master apprentice in that first episode when they're talking about him.
Right.
No, I think they're more mercenaries than they are.
Yeah, they're getting paid. Yeah. They're being paid, right?
They're not
by this
Sith.
witch
They're
character.
not Jedi either.
No. That's for sure.
Ray Stevenson
was a former Jedi, yeah.
But at this point, that would have been like 30 years prior.
Right.
We're about 30
man
years after Episode 3.
Yeah. No, he disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So he went into hiding with, like a lot of other Jedi did.
I would say he's closer to a fallen Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And you know what?
And that doesn't necessarily make him a Sith. So.
And Ahsoka comes off like that too.
Well, she chose to walk away from the Jedi.
Right. Mm-hmm.
After she was framed and the Jedi.
I think they refer to them as gray Jedi. Yeah. Well, I hear you. Yeah, we had this discussion the other night when we were playing Couture.
Yeah. Although I guess a gray Jedi probably wouldn't go around just like straight up murdering an entire ship full of people. Yeah. That doesn't sound like something Qui-Gon Jinn would do. He'd kill all kinds of robots, but like
sentient beings? No, I don't think so.
The gray Jedi, a good example there might be like if during this is prior to Episode 3, like a Jedi that believed in marriage, a Jedi that just believed in having, going against the tenets of the Jedi Order, but not being an unethical person at the same time.
Right.
Well, the fundamental thing with the Grey Jedi is they believed on both sides of the Force. That was the main thing. They didn't think one side should be more prevalent than the other. They didn't think everyone should be just all goody Jedi. They didn't think everyone should be all, bad. There was a balance. It was all about balance for them. Mm-hmm. So that's how their decisions were made. Where's the balance in these decisions? And these guys. I'm not seeing evil from these guys, just more indifference.
I'm not exactly saying that, but I tell you what, I am getting the feeling of I'm feeling like Balin, which is Ray Stevenson's character, by the way, guys. Balin, he looks like he'd be ready to backstab any of these dudes if he thought that they were doing something against his agenda. He's just along for the ride with these guys till he gets what he wants, is what it looks like.
And what that is, we
don't know what it is yet, but it definitely hinges on the guy you guys are all dying to see, Grand Admiral Thrawn. It definitely hinges on that guy.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're wanting from Thrawn that makes it so. That's the crazy part.
And once again, here's another thing. The fucking mystery box shit drives me nuts. We got another fucking map.
Yeah. We got to put this into here so that it shines a light here. I'm like, am I watching Indiana Jones
so
or
that's
Star Wars?
They did reference that, and then in one of the Easter egg stuff, but it's also you see it in Jedi Survivor as well.
The video in that game, yeah.
So it's definitely taken from there too.
They're hoping they want Admiral Thrawn so they can reunite the Imperial remnants and bring back.
That's what the Imperials want. That's what she wants. That's not what they want. They don't care about that. The skull.
No,
and
I don't get the feeling that Balin and
his
something else. Yeah, they want something else. Yeah, no doubt.
I was about to say,
Ahsoka Clay Thomas says, I think it's safe to assume that he won't be returning next season. Thanks for pointing out the totally obvious, Mr. Spock.
And that generally happens when there's a master and apprentice in the scene too. So there's a good chance that he'll be, he was already going to be out by the end of the season. We'll see, obviously, but
right.
And I'm interested more in her character too.
Is there being
if anybody's a Sith in this movie or in a show, it's definitely the apprentice.
Yeah, she seems like she could be, no doubt.
She could lean that way for sure. And I think if he ends up, and they actually have Malik in there. Is it Malik or Malik? I
heard that name.
Remy Malik?
No.
No.
This is the guy that has the spinning sword. The red
sword.
Yeah.
The
running theory is that he might be Ezra. Is a popular theory that's popped up.
That's probably why he's masked. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Morgan, the Night Sister, warped his mind, and that's it. But that doesn't explain why he's there and Thrawn's not. That's my one issue with that. So because he was with Thrawn, so how is Ezra back and Thrawn's not? Like that doesn't make sense. So there's still too much to backfill. I thought about that too when I first saw him because he was masked and they put a lot of camera time on him. Without really knowing anything about him. Yeah, I only learned his name because of the I don't even know. Did they even mention his name in the show? I don't even remember them.
I thought he was maybe a member of Daft Punk or something.
I don't want to trip into too much spoiler territory and look on IMDb. I'm staying away from the IMDb page for Ahsoka. So
I thought having that sword, I thought he was just another Inquisitor that survived.
He is a former Inquisitor. That's the thing with that spinning sword makes him. That's why that's one of the reasons why I didn't think he was Ezra. Is because he's a brother. He's one of the brothers. So at least a leftover. He's like a leftover.
I did like in Rebels how Ezra's his blaster and he had it was like a blaster and lightsaber combined.
Yeah, cool. Is that the first lightsaber he has, or is that the blue one, or is it the second one? So that's the one that Sabine is. That's the one that Sabine's carrying right now. That's the blaster lightsaber. Which is
now I guess being skewered in the gullet doesn't kill you anymore.
Not in Star Wars.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of memes. Qui-Gon is saying differently, but
Qui-Gon calls out from the grave saying, "Why not me?"
I've seen a lot of videos of like. Disney execs, and then Qui-Gon running into the room and beating them all up because that's why did I get killed by that? And
why did I get skewered left behind?
The difference is when Qui-Gon was skewered, it was in the center, and these have all been on the side.
Okay.
Plus, she probably got immediate, medical assistance and all that good
stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch it, but it sure looked like that thing went through her spine whenever she.
Yeah, it was a little off to the side, but I think, back to spray. Clay Thomas says it. Back to spray. Ahsoka was right there. She could have, probably helped a little bit more than Obi-Wan. Maybe she had the ability. I don't know.
It's improved over the years.
Well, every time I see Back-Teen in the store, I think yeah.
But
that Reva got it twice in that area and survived. In
I wouldn't know. I didn't watch that stupid ass show.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, no. I heard all about it. I've heard everything about that show. I have no intention of watching guys that can't catch a 10-year-old. So
at one point, Obi-Wan is hiding from her, and she walks around going, "Obi-Wan." Obi-Wan.
I hated her character so much. I did not. She was not. She was a showboater to me. Like
these first two episodes of Ahsoka were better than Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett, or probably Mando season 3.
If you want to get around to rating it, let me tell you, I'm enjoying it. I'm not seeing cliffhanger stuff where I just have to see the next episode, but they haven't thrown me off.
No, these were setup episodes for sure. Like everything we saw in the trailer were basically these 2 episodes. So there was nothing really new that you can catch. I think we're really going to see it pick up out because it was also introductions, really. And a lot of the scenes in there were actually scenes from the cartoon. A lot of the ending of the series Rebels. Her touching the Ezra on the face on the painting wall. That's
right.
That's literally frame for frame.
I figured it had something to do with that.
When she turns around and sees Ahsoka, now in the cartoon, Ahsoka has a staff, so there's some differences.
But and I don't think it's an accident that the mural has them looking like cartoon characters. I don't think that's by accident.
That's actually from the cartoon. She paints that in the cartoon, and it's taken from that. It's exactly like it's.
So I assume the bunk she was looking at was her own with the paintings and stuff.
That's what she was training with. Now there's not a lot with. There's not too much, I think, with the training that we know about between her and Ahsoka, like why exactly they fell out. There was more her training when we saw it was more with Kanan when she had the darksaber.
Okay,
because she actually had the darksaber at one point.
I did have a couple of bones to pick. One, a positive thing, I think the casting of Sabine, the actress, she looks like a live-action Sabine should look. And so I think they did a good job as far as that goes. And I think Rosario Dawson is good from a casting standpoint for Ahsoka. But my issue with her was that I know she's older now. She's not a teenager anymore. She's, decades past that. But she's also just like overly subdued, like she was given a sedative or something. Is how her character comes off. Like it's like, oh, I'm above it all. I'm just, I'm infallible. I'm just, I'm so laid back because,
I don't have to worry about a thing.
I don't have to worry about things.
Yeah.
There could have been a little more life there. And then the casting of Hera, Ian McGregor's wife, I thought was, the more I think about it, the more I think it was a really bad decision. She does not.
Now, Hera is the Twi'lek
green
general? Okay.
I just don't think she's Hera at all. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, that's not a good casting. I'll agree with that.
Let's see. Rosaria was too wooden. I mean,
especially, I think, and one thing I did take a screenshot of a tweet that I saw last night because I was just like looking around and see what people were saying about it. But they said, and I don't agree with it completely, but say watching Ahsoka is almost insufferable without a 1.5 speed option. I'm actually astonished how slow every line of dialogue is delivered. People just stare at each other half the episode. Yeah. I did feel like there was a lot of just really slow developing scenes, and that the pacing was just
that's the knock on Disney Star Wars, isn't it? They really take their time doing everything. So
and I kind of agree with I even think the fighting was subdued. When you watch Clone Wars, Rebels, and those shows, you remember Yoda in Clone Wars, the movie?
Oh hell yeah!
That's like all the lightsaber.
You mean the perpetrator, as me and my brother like to call him, because he walks in stumbling on a cane and then he pitches the cane away, pulls that lightsaber out, and just goes to town like a fucking.
This is like the opposite of that. This is like, and that kind of fighting happens all the time, and like especially Ahsoka with their dual blades, they're all over the place. But in this one, they're just kind of like. The fights are just kind of boring.
So what you're saying is that Christopher Lee, at 80 years old, was moving around better.
I kind of feel like it. To me, when I was thinking about it, to me it was more like the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight in the very first movie. Like that kind of choreograph.
Wow,
it's just
kind of like I don't think it's that bad.
I don't know. That's just it. More reminded me of that than it did the actual cartoon where they're like, and obviously it's a cartoon, so they can do things more faster pace and things.
Right.
But you saw Clone Wars in the movie, and that choreographic was pretty good too, with Anakin and versus Dooku, and then the third movie, Revenge of the Sith. So I don't know. I felt like the lightsaber fights were too slow. And then Ren having any kind of chance against Shen is kind of weird to me. I know they're going to come back and have her win because that's Disney, and she's going to win in the end. But
E. Clay Thomas says she only got the role because of her husband, Ewan McGregor. We know this, and but he also says Yoda totally pulled a Willy Wonka. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he's using the Force.
Yes.
That augment his
physical abilities, right? Yeah. Yep. I got it.
That would if he used it all the time, it would be draining.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It's it's the closest thing to Star Wars I've seen so far out of this franchise on Disney Plus. Okay. And I like Andor simply because it was a lot like Rogue One, and that was a darker type of story. And I like those darker type of stories. But this feels more like the Star Wars that and let's face it, guys, I got to tell you, my favorite part of Star Wars, Knock talks like he's really into the Empire part of it and that kind of thing. I'm really into the spiritual side of it. I love the Jedi and the struggle between the Sith and the fucking Jedi. I think it's awesome. That's my favorite part of the entire story. The spiritual side of it, and we're getting a lot of that in this, and I like that a lot. I like it a whole lot. So I'm really intrigued by Balin. I want to see what he's got an agenda, but it's not what that witch's agenda is.
Yeah,
and I got a feeling he's going to be the one to kill that witch. I got a feeling he's going to be the one to kill her.
Or he attempts to kill the witch, and his apprentice kills him.
Right,
something like that.
Something's
speaking of Balin, it's interesting. I'm wondering how many times, like it's now become, Disney's go-to how many hallway scenes can we have where we have one guy just going down a hallway just murdering people or robots or something.
It's required.
Yeah.
Like it's
because we got that out of Balin, didn't we? Yeah, we got it.
How many times? I mean, it looks great. It looks cool. But how many times are we going to let him drink from that well? I'm just kind of curious.
Right. Let's do something new, folks. Let's do something new, please.
So
there's a lot of. We've seen a couple of tropes in here. The bad girl doesn't show up to the honor ceremony like she's supposed to, and
it looks like we're getting 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes.
Looks like we're getting 8 episodes.
8 episodes of it? Okay.
Cool. I am really curious about Shen. I am curious about her character development too. Again, she doesn't really strike me as evil per se. I mean, yeah, she's aggressive for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
As soon as Balin starts with his little speech, she moves instantly and goes right into the fight. So she's a Padawan. Yeah. She's a very typical Padawan. Always aggressive.
She's definitely
all the master held back.
Pupil.
Yeah, absolutely. But every time they pan to her, she's always more expressionless. There's never like any kind of like disgust or kind of emotion in any kind of way. So
basically, like Hera and Ahsoka.
Yeah. So I'm not really. That's why I'm not really getting the evil vibe from them. I refuse to believe they're Sith. I don't think they're Sith. They might have gone a little bit on the darker side, but they're not philosophically Sith.
So, are there any Sith at this point in the timeline in the story? And let's be clear, guys. In case you don't know when this is taking place, it's taking place between episodes 6 and 7. If you're a movie nut like me, okay, that's when it's taking place.
Probably about 6 years, maybe 7 years after Return of the Jedi, just to give a frame of reference.
Right.
Based on the fact that we don't know exactly when Snoke was alive or formed or created,
it's kind of hard to tell. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of hard to tell when he came about. So that's about it as far as I know. There's obviously.
What were you saying, John? You were trying to say something there?
This is as we know, the Emperor is still at kind of alive at this point.
I choose to believe he's not, but that's just me.
Yeah.
We'll go down that rabbit hole later, but he's definitely ineffective. So he's still the Sith master in this part of the story. Is that what we're saying? That Palpatine's clone ass is
probably, yeah. Because this is all canon with all of it. So
yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean I have to like it, bro. You just don't know how much I don't like Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world bringing him back. But here's my other question. they're building Thrawn up really big time, and I know why. I mean, even the guy, Chris Gore, that I know you don't like me saying his name, Knock, but I was watching his review on this earlier today, and he was explaining to people that didn't know who Thrawn was, and the first thing he said was that he can look at a culture's art and figure out how to destroy them, you know? Same thing you always told me about how brilliant this guy is. Do you think that Thrawn is going to be the first brick in the foundation of the First Order? Do you think that's where they're going to go with it?
Here's why I don't think so.
Okay.
I believe that all those ships that were created in the final movie, Thrawn would have saw that and thought that was a waste of time.
Right. Yeah.
I don't believe he would have come up with that plan. Well, now whether they write it that way because they have to do something that leads towards that, it's kind of hard to tell. So I think before the it's hard to tell if he has anything to do with Palpatine whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think if he's coming back, it's coming to take over, and then of course Ahsoka probably stops him. It's going to happen.
Or Ezra shows back up and stops him.
I don't get the feeling that this Grand Admiral Thrawn looks at everybody around him like they're ants, and he's just above everything. Yeah. Wow. That's great. It sounds like a great character. I can't wait.
I don't know about ants. I mean, he would definitely study them for sure.
Right.
he would want to find their weaknesses for sure. So he can find that, you know.
Well, if he's studying fire ants, there are none.
It's a big galaxy out there. You don't know, man. No, so I don't know. So
gasoline.
He was, because he was completely against the Death Star.
Yeah,
he was completely against it. What he wanted to do was take that money when he found out about it, because he had his own little project. He wanted to create TIE Defenders. TIE Defenders were tri-wing. They were tri-wing little fighter crafts that had
TIE
shields.
Fighters,
TIE fighters, and they had shields on. They had hyperdrives. And they were much faster than the A-wings. They had better shields than the X-wings, and it was just a better. Like if they had that at the start, because the biggest thing with the Imperial, pilots is it was a war of attrition with them because they were constantly dying, and where the rebels had shields. So their pilots were always better because they lived longer. And whereas for the Empire, they were just more just like,
cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
E. Clay Thomas says, in what episode will Thrawn show up? I say the last one.
I hope not. I truly don't. But at this point, at the pace that we're going right now, yes. I
think you'll get a small scene with him maybe around episode 4, maybe like the end of episode 4.
We'll see him in episode 5.
That's my prediction.
We got it. We still going to have the journey to the thing, to the place, and then that's going to take forever. And it's just...
Martin Acosta Santana says, "Greetings, my excellent friends. You've got the link. Come in here if you want to, buddy." Let's see. Better late than never. I see you, bud. I see you. You've got the link. It's in the WhatsApp thread, man. You're on that thread. If you want me to send you another one, I will. So if you want to join us.
So to go back to your original question, Joe, it's really hard to tell how he's going to factor in to the eventual leading to the First Order. It's really hard to tell. Could he put something in motion that would take effect after he's gone? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, from what I've seen, and believe it or not, guys, I don't poo-poo on all Star Wars. I actually watch some of it. It's just some of it I just can't stand. I have watched every episode of The Mandalorian, and they were working on cloning at the end of that one. Correct me if I'm wrong. So maybe that's something that's going to play into it. Did they kill off the guy at the end of that one? I don't remember. Remember the base at the end of it, right?
Yeah, they killed off the scientist already.
Okay. All right. So,
and that whole cloning thing, that was Giancarlo's baby. Like, it ended with him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. So nobody could pick that up.
Well, it ended with him or with his clone.
That's what I'm saying, man. They threw the clone card down at the end of that show. They did. So, is that the direction it's going to come from? What I'm leading to is we know that their future projects that they've already announced, which I don't think these studios, by the way, need to be doing. They're handcuffing themselves. They don't need to be putting this fucking shit out in the public. You're dumb for doing that. Okay. We know that Filoni is going to direct the movie that's going to wrap all of these series up. Okay.
Yep.
Which is the Ahsoka series, which is the Mandalorian series. Everything that's
Look at Boba Fett.
Sandwiched. Right. Oh God, did you have to mention that stupid shit? Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I never saw. I didn't see Kenobi, but all of that is going to be wrapped up in a bow by a movie that Filoni's going to make.
Yep.
So,
we hope.
Well, that's what their plan is. That's what their plan is. Now, whether or not Disney will have the money to ever make that movie, that's another thing,
Well, they bought Fox for $71 billion. If they sell something, I don't know if it would be Fox that they would sell first, but if they ever do sell Fox, I'd be interested to see what the price is, if it's more or less than what they bought it for. That'll pay attention to that.
Okie doke.
Like selling Fox to either Amazon or Apple.
Right.
If the FCC would allow that.
There's rumor that Apple's thinking about buying the whole kit and caboodle. I'm like, whoa.
Disney will never be bought out entirely, I don't think.
I don't think they will either. Mark Acosta says he's got the link. When he's done with his chores, he'll join. I'm glad to see that. I would love to see him, my friend. You'd like him too, Knock. The rest of us know him because he's in the YouTube sphere. He's the producer.
He's been on a few times when I've been here.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's ever been on the show. But he's a great guy. Lives in Mexico.
One time, I remember him.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, it's I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I just hope, like the rest of you guys have been mentioning, I hope they pick up the pace because it is going by a little slow.
We're already a quarter of the way through. That's the second thing about having these 2 episodes.
But I love the fact that we had lightsaber fights at the end of both episodes. That was awesome. But we
got Clancy Brown as the mayor in Lethal, who he's done a lot of live action stuff, but he's done a lot of voice acting stuff over the years.
Is this the guy the guy that was looking for Sabine and okay?
Well, he actually voiced him in the cartoon as well.
Yeah.
When I see that guy, all I see is Starship Troopers. I see that the drill sergeant.
He actually played another spot on Star Wars as well for the Mandalorian. He was like a red alien guy.
Like a
bounty hunter guy or something like that.
Like one of Bill Burr's goons.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah.
The fact that Bill Burr.
Oh, get out of here, Martin. Yeah, this is all spoilers, man.
They say, crap, I still haven't seen the second episode. Getting spoilers galore. Yes, I told people we were going to do this. So, I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
So anyway, when Luke comes in jumping out of nowhere.
Right, when Luke jumps off the
platform,
like he's walking the plank.
And then Ahsoka attacks him. Like, what are you doing, Ahsoka? You're on the same side. Like, what are you doing? And that's how I met your mother. Anyways, so
there's not a lot to spoil. Clay says, yeah, there really isn't. They basically what they did was they let you know how everybody's doing. That was on the show Rebels, basically, and where they're at now. And they're all looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn, bro. That's what's going on. He's the big linchpin that everybody's after.
And Ezra.
And that's what the good guys are after is Ezra. They're hoping that he's there. But
the kid they got playing Ezra, the actor they got playing Ezra, looks like an adult version of Ezra from the cartoon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I told you, I'm not going to that IMDb page. I'm just not doing it. I couldn't do it.
And we haven't discussed a whole lot of Morgan Ellsworth, who is the Night Sister.
I was kind of shocked she was a Night Sister.
Kind of wicked. There's not a lot of Night Sisters left.
She descended from the Night Sister. She's not an action.
All right, slow down. Tell me who we're talking about. You talking about the witch?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that little green.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Night Sisters are actually Darth Maul comes from the same Dathomir.
Yeah, she's not the same race.
No.
Well, she's a descendant of them, of the Night Sisters. She's probably like twice removed.
She's not Dathomirian.
Yeah.
She's
she's
more,
descended up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's like half Dathomirian, half human or something.
What I thought was neat was they kept referring to her as a witch, and the whole key to that friggin' map was a triquetra, which my wife is huge into friggin'. Her favorite show is Charmed. Okay, she's big into all the magic stuff, and I can't believe she didn't get into Harry Potter. I really can't believe she didn't get into that because it's all about magic, right? She loves that stuff, and we've got a triquetra hanging on the wall in the living room, And I thought it was neat that the key that she found was a triquetra, how to make it and everything. I thought that was cool. But
well, Gary Neurotic referred to the episode as "Women Chasing the Balls," and I guess technically it was one ball, but
women chasing balls,
passing around the ball.
Marta Costa says the Night Sister went extinct not that long ago.
Well, the thing is, they're bald.
They're not completely
all that race is bald. They're supposed to be bald anyway. But only the males have the spikes like Darth Maul did.
The Night Sisters had hair.
Did they?
Yeah.
I thought they were all bald, because that's what.
Look at what's her face from the video game.
Which video game?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
I guess you're right.
No, the women look different from the men. The men were the ones with the bald heads and the horns on the head. The women look completely different. The Night Sisters were something different. They were the ones that treated the men like just dogs. And they were.
Oh, well, no wonder they put them in this show. Yeah. Well, nice. Okay. E. Clay Thomas, that which is distracting. All I see when I look at her is Dr. Evil's lady sidekick. Yeah, there's been a lot said about there being, it's the Force is female with this show. But if it's based on Rebels, which is what it looks like, it's mostly female characters on that show. It looks like.
You're not going to have any male protagonists that have any sort of, prominent role unless Ezra becomes more of a thing. But that he's not going to be heavily used.
Well, in the cartoon, for the majority of the show, you had Kanan, you had Ezra, you had what's his face, the big alien dude.
Is Kanan dead or something?
He dies in Rebels.
Yeah, he dies in Rebels.
He sacrifices himself, saving everybody else.
Okay. Really cool scene too. Really badass scene.
What happened is the producers found out how bad he booked WWE. Freddie Prinze Jr. and we're like, your character has to go.
So basically, all the guys that were in the original squad, or either you got the one alien dude who's off playing Rebel pilot, you have one that's dead, and then you have one that's missing. So it's like all the guys are gone, and all that's left are the women. So it's Zeb.
Let's see. Martin Acosta says we already had Zeb in Mando. So
he could come back.
He could be back.
I hope he does.
I really like Zeb. That was a cool.
Doesn't feel right not to have him with the rest of the Rebels.
Yeah, I have no idea why, unless he was originally supposed to be in some other show. Like the Gia, what's her name that got kicked?
Yeah, Gia Carano was supposed to do one. Rangers or something.
Rangers, right? He probably could have been in that one.
Yeah.
So he probably was originally going to be in that. Maybe I don't know.
And Zeb looked good in his Mando scenes. Like, it wasn't like this She-Hulk PS2 graphics
looking thing. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
He looks very accurate.
And seeing him come back to the crew, you got Chopper, the murderous little robot there. So
which is perfectly spot on.
Yeah. The little attitude he gives on there cracks me up. That's Chopper all the way.
Yeah. You can tell.
Did you touch my things? No, I didn't touch your things.
Right.
They may not be able to afford Zeb in terms of the work that would go into making that look good for like.
I don't know. They made those ships look pretty fucking cool, man.
That's what they spent all their money on was the ships, so they could.
Dude,
they have both guys. Really do one or the other. Cool ships or a cool character.
As much as we've been calling them out on bad CGI, I have to tell you the CGI in this one's good. It is really good. I enjoyed that part of it. I'll tell you I'm sitting here looking at the trailer right now, and I'm sitting here thinking that part where the fucking droids went into self-destruct mode when she found that map. I was like, and she's running, and God, she must have been almost a mile away from the fucking thing. And I was like, holy shit, these things are about to fucking nuke the place.
Right. I was like, how far does she have to run away?
Right?
Oh, she's still going.
The ship catches up with her.
Oh, let's see. E. Clay Thomas asks, what happened to the son? Didn't the mom have a son?
Yeah, General Shula had a son with Kanan's son.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
They haven't mentioned her.
They have not mentioned the kid.
So there's a half Twi'lek Jedi Force sensitive out there somewhere.
Yeah, that was basically the end of Rebels. Is like a final scene with him being in the co-chair, and then somewhere. But Hera.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
the Lothal cats looked perfect.
First of all, you three lore addicts on Star Wars. Was it lore accurate?
Well, it was lore creating, sticky. Absolutely. Because all the designs in the back on Lothal especially was all straight from the cartoon. Okay. Everything was straight from it. And you got to remember, this is Dave Filoni's pet project cartoon, turning into Filoni's pet project live action show.
And he wrote all the
episodes. There's no new director or new,
Gotcha. It's a continuation.
It's literally
this is his baby. I got you. Martin Carcer says, "Holy crap!" I think he's meaning Balin. Is that what he's meaning?
I don't know who Talon is.
Will be Hera's child.
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
No, that can't be right. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, yeah, it absolutely is spot on with everything so far. And like I said, some of those scenes that you see in the show is literally the end of the series. So I think that was what it was. It was kind of like showing you where the show ended for Rebels and where the show begins. And
so this is a Rebels reunion. Yeah. Which is cool, apparently, because it was a popular show, apparently. Because you guys know every inch of it, man. You lore addicts for Star Wars know every inch of that show. So
I mean, I'll tell you what. When it came out, I was upset because they canceled Clone Wars for it.
Okay.
And I didn't watch it for the first half season. And then somebody told us, said, "Look, gotta check it out. It's good." So I finally watched it. And yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Okay.
I was completely against Clone Wars myself, watching the cartoons, and then finally I was like, you know what, for lore, I got to do it. And then I did that, and then I went right into Rebels, and then now I'm sticking with Bad Batch as well. It's all lore. It's great. The only thing I didn't watch was Resistance because it was dumb. It was a dumb cartoon.
Bad Batch sounds like the Andor side of the house to me. It sounds like it's a little darker kind of story.
It is darker.
Yeah.
So Bad Batch is literally right after Order 66, but the Bad Batch were a group of clones that had mutations, and some of them didn't get affected by the flick of the switch. When Order 66 came about, that literally flicked the switch in their brains that turned on the chip that was in their head that turned them against the Jedi.
Right.
So and their mutations caused it so that they didn't get that flick. Some did, but they turned it off. They were helping turn it off. But for most of that squad, and it's basically just living in the new world order.
Wow.
Doc, I would say if you're going to miss anything in Star Wars in terms of Disney Star Wars, probably Resistance is probably the thing to miss.
Oh yeah, especially because it's about the new movies, like prequels to the new movie or whatever.
It's set around that time period.
Yeah, I had no desire. I have no desire to read anything having to do with the sequel trilogy at all.
Yeah,
most of it takes place on a platform on an ocean planet.
Yeah. If I literally have nothing else to watch someday, and I mean that outside of Star Wars as well, I may take a gander on it, but I'll have it playing while I'm playing like Madden or something like that.
I'm also not a big fan of the animation style with Resistance. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a lot of shows that were around like 2015 through 2017, like that era used that type of animation, and it's not anime, but it's not traditional. It's like if they tried to take anime, traditional, and 3D modeling and made it all one thing.
Well, for me, as long as they don't go back to that original Clone Wars cartoon look, then I'm
the Genndy Tartakovsky.
I don't want that kind of. Yeah, I don't want that kind of. Cartoon.
The Samurai Jack look.
Tartakovsky.
Martin's got a lot of input here. Hang on, let's see. Martin says Talon is a Sith Twi'lek. Nox Clone Wars history reflects mine. I resisted until I couldn't. And then he says, resistance is a no-no for me.
Because everyone will never try to talk you into, Joe, it's resistance. We'll never try to talk you
I hear you. Yeah,
I'm
feeling you on that.
I got it.
Clone Wars, I would say,
okay, you got it.
You'd have to follow a guide. You'd have to follow a guide for Clone Wars. You don't have to watch every single episode. Yep. But they're only like 20 minutes long. So it's like, there's not that much to watch.
What'd you say, Matt? You're waving at me? What's up?
I was just waving at John. Thought he said he had to go.
Yep. No, he's saying he's got it.
it.
He's getting Martin the link. He told me to resend it. Apparently, he can't find it.
What are you trying to say, man? You trying to get John to go? What are you doing there?
Right?
Bye, John.
Trying to run him off? Yeah. I don't want to hear what you got to say. Resistance is great. I loved it. Fuck you.
It does have an Asian male lead. So, there's that.
There is that. Yeah.
No, I definitely think and the more I watch the cartoons, the more I liked them. Like they have one episode where they have a Jedi that he hated the clones, and he literally his main purpose was just to throw the clones into super bad situations to get them.
Oh, that's a.
And so that was a pretty wicked. That was a pretty wicked episode. It's like, and the clones were like, and the clones are, they're loyal to a fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Sir, I don't think we should do that." He's like, "I'm the Jedi. You listen to me." And the dude straight up just went bad. He ended up turning actually Sith.
Well, you guys catch Martin up with the conversation. It's good to see you, brother. Catch him up, and I'm going to go grab a beer real quick, and I'll be right back.
I need to refill too.
Mark, we are talking about the second episode too, so I don't know.
Don't worry.
Okay. But no, I don't understand. So it's got the trailer behind them right now, and it's got Sabine going on that race, that just long stretch. I never understood that stretch. I never got its purpose. Why there's a long stretch of road that just leads to grass, and it makes no sense to me.
Well, that road has been there since the first episode of.
It's been there since the start of Rebels. It's been there since the start of Rebels. You see Ezra driving on it at the start of Rebels. So I just don't understand its purpose. in general, what's its purpose?
Yeah,
it's just like a long set of highway that goes to nowhere.
The script need that road.
we need a time for them to reflect on what they do in the city, so they need a long stretch of road. Just kind of like,
it's a long highway. Like it's like watching Mad Max. It's like there's no one on the highway. But yeah, I mean, it goes to Sabine's house, and that's it. That's the only destination of the highway.
It actually used to belong to Ezra, which was really cool. So that was really interesting.
It's also not the most efficient use of space. Like in terms of square footage, there's a good amount there, but you're not.
Yeah, there's like an elevator, and then there's up top, and then like this.
Yeah.
There's like one room.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a house. That was a comm tower.
It was a communication tower. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Ezra used it to make his big speech at the end of the show and all that good stuff. And it was really cool seeing Lothal because it does play a huge part.
Yes, Lothal is very beautiful.
It was a huge part of the end of Rebels too, because they defended it against Thrawn. Thrawn was going to take it over. Thrawn wanted to build a manufacturing plant on Lothal. That's why he was at Lothal, to take the planet over and build. He wanted to build stuff on it, and you had the main rebels there trying to fight him off, and that's when Ezra took over the ship. And those whales are very interesting.
Yes, they are.
They actually have their own expressway. And that's exactly what the Eye of Sion. The Sion is actually one of the characters in the second KOTOR game. I don't know if there's any relationship between that. If that's the lore, that's why they picked that name, Eye of Sion. But the name's been used. But that's that big ship that they're using all the Super Star Destroyer engines on. They want to create a ship that can follow those whale express lanes, which is kind of weird. Kind of weird. So.
Well, that's how they're getting to the other galaxy, though.
Right.
Okay. Well, I thought that was really neat when they were explaining that. Those whales just look like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's Discovery-like, but it kind of is. Star Trek Discovery. If you don't know, one of the things about it, the Discovery ship is made to run on these spore lanes. It makes it show up someplace in a flash that's totally in a different friggin' solar system, kind of thing. If you know anything about that show, but it sounds a lot like that. It sounds like these animals are able to move faster than light naturally, and they're trying to replicate that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. So Martin, how are you? It's good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you too, man. All of you. I haven't been here in so many months.
Yeah.
You saw me this morning.
Yeah, but
and Joe too. But
he gets to come here and not have to run anything, though. He gets to come hang out and just be a guy. That's fun for him, I'm sure.
No,
this is the guy that runs. This is the guy that runs everything for Pop Culture Minefield right here. Really, he is. So
it's not fun. I'll tell you that. Every time I'm watching a live stream, I automatically try to highlight some comment.
I imagine you do, man.
Like right now, Martin is just like automatically, trained to be looking at the chat for any spam or any,
right. My chat is not near as active as Pop Culture Minefield, so you don't have to worry about that.
Unless Ariel's in it, then
Ariel's in it, and she wasn't around this morning. She's not here today. I hope she's all right. Ariel, if you're watching, check in with us and let us know you're okay, because she had a health scare not too long ago. We gotta keep an eye out for her. But yeah, you haven't watched it yet. I'm sure they filled you in. I'll tell you my perspective, and you got to know something. These guys have all watched Rebels, and I sure you have too. I would be considered the normie on this panel, Martin. I have never seen an animated Star Wars show in my life. I watched the movies and what I've seen on Disney Plus. And I don't watch everything that comes out on Disney Plus. I've watched The Mandalorian 3 seasons. I watched one episode of Boba Fett and turned it off. Never watched it again. And then I didn't watch anything of Kenobi. I didn't watch any of that.
Oh my God!
And
I wish I could say the same.
Right. But this is the first one I've been excited about, because every time, one of the perks of doing this show in particular is my man that's sitting right next to me on the panel. He has been filling me on Star Wars lore for a decade now. We've known each other a long time, me and Knock.
And he's retained none of it, so I get to.
I have retained a lot of it. I was explaining to my wife a lot about the show last night because she didn't know shit. But I that's one of the perks of the show. I get to hear about all of this stuff that I'm probably never going to see, because I'm just, dude, there's only so many hours of my day, and I can't.
Well, at least you should watch the Cartoon Network series of the Clone Wars. It's short, and it's in the same style of Samurai Jack. In fact, it's written by the same guy.
Okay.
Genndy Tartarovsky is the same who does Primal.
Okay.
You're gonna find it entertaining, and it's short. So
I tell you what, if you lightsaber fights in those are awesome. They're fun.
Are they? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hey, I love that. That's the stuff I love. That's one thing I'm enjoying here, Martin. Is this my favorite part of Star Wars is the spiritual side, and we're seeing a lot of that. And matter of fact, I'm learning that there are guys that aren't Sith and aren't Jedi. There may be actual grays out there that and that's what Balin's coming off like, right, guys? You agree?
Yeah, I'm not going to call him a gray, but I get what you're saying. But there's just other types.
Yeah, I would call it a rogue Force user.
Yeah, fallen Jedi rogue, just something. Yeah, gray. Gray isn't the. It's not good, bad, and gray. It's not. It's
right.
No, that
but he's definitely got his own agenda, guys. Can we agree on that? He's got his own agenda, it's not the witch's agenda at all. Yeah.
No.
We just don't know what it is.
There's something Thrawn has that he wants that we don't know yet,
or
it's not alluded to yet.
For all we know, he could be after the whales.
Could be.
Maybe
that could be it. I mean,
those whales are special creatures, and they actually are. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. But I think you're going to enjoy it, Martin. But it's not moving.
I am. I just saw the first one.
As with all Star Wars, dude, it's not moving fast enough. Put it at 1.5 speed.
Okay? It doesn't bother me, to be honest.
There are a couple things I want to see with the series going forward. One, I want Hera and Ahsoka to act like they want to be there. And two, I want to have like a street bazaar scene on Lothal. Like something like, ground level. We didn't really
I feel like we're not going to be on Lothal for much longer. I think we're going to be off planet.
Yeah, it looks like they're leaving pretty quick.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could they go back if Ezra appears? Probably, but that'll probably be like at the end of the season if they get that far.
And I do like the theory of Ezra being that Inquisitor. I like that theory.
Yeah, it's just the kind of deal where it's like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It'd be interesting, but it's like, why is he back and Thrawn's not?
They better have a good explanation for it.
Right. It would have to be something really good because he was with Thrawn. That was confirmed. He left with Thrawn.
Yeah.
Right.
Or at least the Inquisitor being some known entity that we've seen somewhere else.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because most of those Inquisitors were fallen Jedi. So for all we know, he could have been one of those kids that got left behind that Anakin did slaughter.
As long as he doesn't do the helicopter thing. Joe, so
oh my God!
I was hoping for that.
No. I can't stand the helicopter maneuver.
I'm going to tell you, I was kind of hoping for that. They actually one of the Inquisitors in the cartoon uses his lightsaber as a helicopter and he flies around with it.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins even. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
And a lot of them use it in that style too, as like a glider. And just many things. But he's smaller, so he's actually flying around with it.
To be honest, I dislike the whole concept of the Inquisitors.
Yeah, I think they're useless
for two main reasons. First one, it deconstruct the legend of Vader being the hand behind the purge. That because that now he didn't do it. No, his lackeys did it. No, I don't like that. And I mean, Disney's on a path of make Luke Vader weaker and weaker every time they show him.
Yeah,
and
I don't like that. On repeat? Why do you keep just?
They also make Order 66.
You can put YouTube videos on repeat. You know that, right?
And the other thing is the time period in which the time period in which they put the Inquisitors, because they exist now in a time period not too not too far from episode 4. And suddenly in episode 4, nobody knows who they are. Nobody remembers them. Nobody makes any reference to them. Yeah. I think that was a...
Right-click the screen, Joe.
I think that was a mistake.
I hear what you mean as far as the Inquisitors go, Martin.
See where it says loop?
It says at the top.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I had to remember how to do it myself. But yeah, I knew there was an option. I just saw you.
And now I didn't hear a fucking word Martin said. Go ahead, Martin.
Sorry, Martin. I saw you do it that last time.
Start off from they're making Vader weaker and weaker every time.
That the whole time. I just noticed it this last time, and I was like, why is it over?
Please fill me in again on
what and the second reason. Okay, the second reason for that I do not like these Inquisitors is the time period in which they are. They should have been more on Mando's timeline and not a few years before episode 4, because these guys that were the terror of the galaxy for years, and episode 4 comes out and nobody remembers them.
Yeah,
nobody ever referenced them.
And now all of a sudden, somebody after the original trilogy has one of their weapons, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Inquisitors go back to the expanded universe, so I can't be against it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little confused by what you're talking about. The Inquisitors didn't come out until after 4.
I think that's what Martin's saying is that why? Yeah,
they should have been in the Mando timeline.
He's saying in the Mando timeline.
They should have been after 6.
Yeah, yes. After 6.
Okay, I'm not understanding why.
Oh, because if they were terrorizing the galaxy during the purge between episode 3 and 4,
helping hunt down the
how come in from episode 4 nobody remembers them? There's not even the least reference to that existence.
It wasn't a George. They're not a George Lucas creation. So
yeah,
I know. What I'm saying is that they shouldn't have put them in that time period.
I don't understand because you can't go based off of the movies that were made.
So what you're saying is like maybe in Kenobi it would have made more sense, which they did. I mean, Reva was in there
after episode 6. They should have been introduced in events after episode 6.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
He's saying
I don't get why though.
I don't either. It makes more sense.
They're in after episode 6, but they didn't get introduced till after it. I don't understand why when they get introduced matters. I think that's where I'm
because
we don't see them in the trilogy at all.
Yes. No, not even.
You don't see a lot of things.
There's not even a mention of them.
You don't even heard of them.
Yeah.
How is it possible that
I get
this
his point
guy
completely?
I get it, but because they're not mentioned in the trilogy. I mean, you can only pack so much stuff into 3 movies. I mean,
right?
Yeah, but dude, people in episode 4, 5, and 6 should have said, "Hey, did you remember those motherfuckers that were from planet to planet maiming people looking for Jedi?"
Yeah.
And suddenly,
these guys were that badass, you know.
I feel like there's a lot of things. You know, what did they not mention? Did they ever mention Mandalorians in the movies? No.
Yeah, they did.
In the movies, did they?
Yeah, they did.
When?
Pretty sure. The Boba Fett's armor. Well,
he's on a Mandalorian.
They didn't mention him in the movies. No, they didn't. But all the fucking literature back then.
But the literature had the Inquisitors as well.
Yeah,
Inquisitors are in the literature. They are.
They?
Yeah.
In the new one. In the new one, not before Disney.
No, before Disney. Before Disney, they were in the Inquisitors. There's a book. There's actually a book about a Jedi that actually protect. I forget his name, but it was.
Was it Tremaine? Was it? Tremaine was the only Inquisitor I can think of.
Holly, by the way, if you guys don't know who Christopher Holly is, that's lunatic.
There's actually a book out there. I don't remember the title of it, but there's actually a Obi-Wan Kenobi like Jedi that lives on Alderaan and protects Leia. He ends up leaving the planet every once in a while to help out some rebel pockets.
Ferris Olin.
And he's actually on the run from Inquisitors. This is a book that was made in like the 2000s or 1990s or 2000, something like that. I can't remember exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. But
there it is, right there, Martin. There it is.
That were hunting him down. Now, did they have the spitting lightsabers at the time? No, they didn't have that. But Inquisitors were a thing pre-Disney in literature. Okay. And so the fact that they were mentioned, Mandalorians were never mentioned in the actual movies.
Yeah, they weren't mentioned in the movie, but we knew that was Mandalorian army he was wearing from the literature.
Remember, in the original movie, many Bothans died to get the Death Star plans.
Yeah. Where are the Bothans at in Rogue One?
Yeah.
0.
No. That was in episode 6.
Oh, that's the other one. So whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But there's a lot of things that are.
Don't get confused.
No, please. If you remember the title of the book.
If we really went back and looked at all the things that were retroactively added on, there's a mountain of it. Yeah. So you can't base everything on just because. Yeah, Ahsoka was created in a cartoon. It was David Fillion's creation to have Ahsoka on there.
Filoni.
I'll never say it.
Filoni.
It's like she came out of nowhere. Like that's what confused me. That was one of the reasons why I chose to do Clone Wars, because like that's his apprentice. When did Anakin have an apprentice? Never showed up in any of the movies. Never spoken of in the movies. In any of the movies, not even the Clone Wars or the second or the third one.
Whoa! But she couldn't have been in the Clone Wars.
Could have been, but not mentioned.
No.
Your argument so far has been that they've never been mentioned. Ahsoka Tano was never mentioned in the movies, and that is the basis of your argument for the Inquisitors. I'm using your argument.
Those movies happened during the Clone Wars, and she's in the Clone Wars.
Right,
yeah, but not in. Okay, wait. I'm not negating your argument now. You are absolutely right. Let me start at that point. You're right. But Ahsoka doesn't appear until the Clone Wars are like halfway
in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she's never mentioned in Revenge of the Sith.
Well,
end of the
okay. That point I concede. That is undeniable.
Fact. Yeah.
That's a fact.
And they play it off in the cartoon retroactively because she went away from the Jedi Order. That's why she was never mentioned. By that time, she left the Jedi Order. Was out
she who shall not be named.
Right. Yes. Exactly. At that point, she was away from the Jedi Order, out of sight, out of mind, and Anakin was dealing with his own stuff. So, not mentioned.
There you go.
And that's how they introduced her character as why it made sense why she was never mentioned. So, So that's kind of where I'm at with the Inquisitors.
So I did a little Googling because I couldn't remember how far they went back. I thought they maybe went back to like a Zahn book or something. But Inquisitors go all the way back to 1987 when the Star Wars role-playing game came out by Weston Games, which would have been the first Weston Games RPG book for Star Wars.
Yep.
So
the D6 Star Wars. Yep.
Prior to that, prior to the 87 RPG book, there was maybe 9 or 10 Star Wars novels prior to that. I mean, not many compared to the hundreds that have come out since. So they do go back a long way.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That was a fun game. I enjoyed playing that.
But no, I get Martin's point. Why wasn't there a throwaway line? Yeah, I mean, true.
And Christopher Holly says, "No shit. Yeah, you learn about Star Wars lore watching my this show right here. Let me tell you. With Knock on this panel, you're gonna learn some shit. Let me tell you. This guy has read it all. He knows it all. About the only thing he probably doesn't know about is the comic books. You probably never read any of the comic books. That's a blind spot for
me. Like, there's a whole story in the comics where Luke goes bad. Like, he's brought back by a clone Palpatine. Like,
wow.
Yeah, he uses Vader's suit.
That was 6 years after the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, he dons Vader's suit without the helmet.
I've read about it in Wikipedia, but I never actually read the comic. I just can't do the comics. It's just I can't in general. I want to. I have the whole Walking Dead. And I just have never.
You just get something about it. You just can't pick it up and read it. Right?
And I feel like I could, but I just whatever it is. I start and then it's like after a couple pages, I'm just like I can't maintain it. I can't maintain comics. It just I don't know what it is.
During that time, Luke was going by the title. I think was Supreme Commander Skywalker.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know he had.
Chris Frawley says, "Yeah, I didn't see the comics. Sorry, yeah,
which kind of shows me he wasn't a real Sith because
I am the guy with the least knowledge about it. I mean, I was one of those dudes. Me and John have this in common. We were old enough to see them when we were children. I mean, we had to wait the 3 years between the 3 chapters to see them. Martin, I'm not sure how old you are. If
50,
you're one of us,
so I did it too.
Okay, so you're one of us. Yeah, you had to wait 3 years between the shows the first time you saw them. But I think I read Splinter of the Mind's Eye. I remember that book, but I don't remember what it was about. I remember Luke and Leia was in it, and it had something to do with Darth Vader. That's about all I remember.
There was a gem that had Force abilities.
Okay, all right, and then the other one I read was it was the first Han Solo book, where we found out that he was a military. Yeah, at Star's End. That's it. I loved that book. That was my favorite Star Wars book. I really enjoyed that one because you found out why him and Chewie were such good friends, and it was a whole lot better explanation than Solo was.
And it didn't involve a shared shower.
No, it didn't. Not at all. It had to do with his military service on Kashyyyk, and he saved a bunch of fucking Wookiees. and the only guy at his court-martial that would defend him was Chewbacca. He was the only one. And those pants that he wears in the movie are the military pants of the time when he got out. He still wears his military pants.
And that is the real reason why Vader refers to him as Captain Solo.
Because he calls him Captain Solo because that was his name. That was his rank. Yep. Those are the only 2 books I read. That's the extent of my lore knowledge beyond these movies and the shows that they've shown on Disney Plus.
So I did a little searching on the term Mandalorian. It goes back to the Marvel comics, which would have been late 70s, early 80s, but I think it would have been early 80s.
Yeah, they were the first ones to have the property. Yeah, I do remember that.
The first time the word Mandalorian got used. So it goes back even further than Inquisitor.
Yep. Yeah. It's been around a long time. I do remember by the time the second movie came out, we knew that was Mandalorian armor. We knew that Boba Fett was not a Mandalorian, but he was wearing Mandalorian armor, and that's why everybody was scared of him, because the Mandalorians were known as badasses, and if he had one's armor, he killed a fucking Mandalorian to get it.
And the thing is, he was a Mandalorian. Boba Fett was a Mandalorian.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's been retconned, though.
Yep. And Sabine is.
Yep.
So. Yeah.
Yep.
Which that you see, that's the part that irks me. The only thing I didn't like in the show is that I expected Sabine to be a better fighter, given that she is a Mandalorian.
Right. Well, the lightsaber's from a more civilized age, man. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Joe, about she trained with the Darksaber, which is
that thing that Homegirl was running around with in the middle. Oh, okay.
Oh, and the other thing is
she trained with Kanan,
Mandalorians are training in the use of vibro blades. Mm-hmm. So I don't see the difference between the using of the lightsaber and other sword-like weapon.
Now Shen's main advantage over her is going to be the Force.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to fighting a skilled opponent, it's still a really hard battle for him, because because you can remember, Darth Maul, he killed Vizsla, but it wasn't easy. Yeah, because when a Jedi goes up against a skilled opponent, like one that has trained their entire life with a sword, basically when the way Jedi do it is they try to kind of read their mind, at least read their movements and kind of anticipate it. But when they go against someone who literally has trained so much that they put no thought into their fighting, there's nothing for the Jedi to track. So that's when it gets really tough, because they're reacting rather than figuring out what they're doing and fight against that. So
Jedi use their force powers when they fight.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's going to bother me when Sabine ultimately wins, is that all Shen really had to do was just force push her off a cliff or something like that. And unless she had her jetpack on, there's nothing she'd be able to do against it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's going to
the
bother
force
me.
push. The force push is so underused, man. Let me tell you something.
It really is.
My favorite lightsaber fight. Now, my favorite one is in Phantom Menace. That's the highlight of that show.
Yeah,
the lightsaber fight in that one. It's the best one ever. But the second best one is the one from Revenge of the Sith.
Yes,
where those two are going at it like crazy, and they're both trying to force push each other and shit. That is so damn awesome.
Well, and they put the training in. They put the time in.
They did. They put the time in.
And one thing that they can't mention in the show or the movies and the shows is the fact that they're actually putting up a force projection between them two to stop them from doing certain things with the force. So there's actually a force shield in between them when they do that kind of stuff. It's just that when one gets pushed by the other one, it means they kind of broke through their force shield, and they were just more powerful.
Yep.
So
I would like to get off the rails, derail a little.
You got 2 minutes left to derail, buddy.
There's this detail in production. I mean, dude, at last they made the Leku of Ahsoka look real.
Yeah,
they are flexible. They're longer because in Mando they didn't look so good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They look like they're moving every once in a while. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks good. It does look good. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's a practical effect. I don't think it may be CGI'd, but if it is, it's a good job because it looks practical to me. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it looks really good. Christopher Holly says, "Hell yeah!" I'm probably reacting to me talking about the lightsaber fights, but boys and girls, we are not going to get to video games tonight, as Knock predicted, because we got on the subject of Star Wars, and once we do that, the show is basically over. It's going to be Star Wars all the way to the end of it, because
that's why he schedules it. Whenever he schedules Star Wars, he schedules it for last, because you're not going to put anything after that.
Yeah, you're not going to do it. That's why we started with the Blue Beetle, because we're done. I mean, I'm with three of the biggest lore nerds there are. Now my newest visitor, Martin, is another one that knows all about it. But not all. I love it just as much as they do. I just don't get into all the backstories like they do. But that's why I love doing this show. I get to learn a bunch of stuff that I would have never seen. But let's go ahead and go around the horn, and let me go ahead and stop this video real quick. And we'll start with Knock. Let us know what's going on with you, man. And we'll get on our way down the road.
Yeah, no. So in about a week and a half, we got our football season starting up. So we'll start.
Yes, pregame party comes back.
Every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be doing that in the morning, do our picks for the week and see how we're done with our picks so far, kind of stuff, and discuss any goings on, any big games. And then I usually do at the start of the show for like the first 10, 15 minutes, I usually do college stuff. So we have some
we just got to watch the highlights. We've learned about the highlights.
I have some ideas about that. I'm probably going to do like my top 3 or something like that, and then that's it. And as far as highlights go, like the best catch.
Now that you have a computer, I'm going to tell you this now. I want you to, first chance you get, download the OBS software. Download that. That's what I use to make the video thing where I tilt it and everything. I want you to do that as soon as you can, man. And I'll talk to you about it off air about it. That way we can kind of tweak it and maybe show a replay where it's not going to get caught, kind of thing.
So we'll do a full breakdown of Auburn UMass.
There you go. That's it. We want to know what's going on with the War Eagle. I mean Tigers. I mean
the Plainsmen.
Whatever that team is from fucking Auburn. Anyway.
And then we got and then of course Monday nights. We'll be back here on Monday. KOTOR.
Yes, KOTOR. Knights of the Old Republic.
I watched your show last night and I felt bad for Jed. I didn't mean to pounce on him too harshly. I was very.
It's okay. It's okay.
But
I knew it was going to happen. As soon as both of you were in the same room, I knew it was going to happen. And that's why I just said, look, both of you relax.
I was hoping he'd be on so I could apologize to him. But my biggest thing for him
that's who's been texting me. He let me know that his internet's in and out. And that's why he wasn't here.
I just wanted to say officially for this particular, because no one can make Joe rage as good as I do. So
no, that's a fact.
Rage. That wasn't the problem.
Jed does a good job, but that guy can make me do it.
No one enjoys watching Joe rage more than me. However, when it came to KOTOR, I did not want him to rage on KOTOR specifically. Yeah.
That's it.
That's like just one of the games where I really wanted. So I wanted to get him past the ridiculous stuff. I don't know if he'll ever actually play the game. He's not going to be the one, because when we and Jed played it, we did it multiple times. We did it with various different characters. We did multiple run-throughs, good, bad, gray, whatever. And we did it with Shia. I don't expect Joe to do that. So I want his one good playthrough to be, not having to worry about.
And I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed it with Jed as my co-pilot because you know what I enjoyed about doing it with Jed though? So every time we got to a pivotal plot point, all of them thought I was going to fuck it up, and I didn't. I got it right every time. The first one was the race. They thought I was going to fucking wreck the race and I was going to be doing it 10 times. I did it in two tries. The last one, I guess, was that chick I met in in the wild out there on Dantooine, and I turned her back to the light side. They were sure I was going to kill her. You know,
you could, and you can, you too. So you could kill and not be evil for it either.
Right,
he was bad, so you can be kind of great about it.
I did the ultimate. I turned her back to the light.
Yeah. So but you know, that was my whole frustrating part about it, is because I know you as a gamer.
Yeah,
and I've known you a lot longer as what you like in games, what you don't like. And this is already pushing your limit to what you want to do.
It's the reading. The reading is the worst.
The gameplay. For the first like 3-4 episodes, you're sitting there like, I'm pushing the trigger to fire. Why isn't he shooting? I'm like, dude, it's not that type of game. It's not a shooter. Like you pick your ability, and he goes and does it, and it's based on rolls of the dice that you don't see. So that was my frustration with my main frustration. I want you to see the story, and we're about to go into the juicy part of it. You're finally going out into the venture.
Yeah, we're going to go on the missions on the other planets, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm trying to get you over the gameplay part of it so that you can focus on the story. And
I'm slowly but surely getting there. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm getting there. And part of it was Jed's help too. I mean, he taught me a lot about the combat system and what I needed to be doing. I would have never known how to turn a shield on unless he'd told me, I mean, and I didn't know they had timers. I thought once you had one, you had it forever. No, you got to keep buying them,
And then the fast travel, that there is fast travel. And you're
that's nice to know. That's nice to know. Thank you for that, Knock, because that's been driving me nuts right there.
You still haven't got to the best companion in the game, though. So
I know which one he's talking about. We'll get there.
We don't want to give anything away like Real Wade Nation does, though. Stop it.
No.
All right. Enough about that.
No spoilers.
John, what's going on with you, pal?
Well, tomorrow morning on Pop Culture Minefield, Keith, we're doing morning coffee with Keith. Keith and I and Martine will be discussing. We're doing a show on Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko.
That's right. His birthday's this month. It's Kirby month, isn't it?
Yep. It's Kirby month, and they are the actual real foundation of comic entertainment.
Yes, sir.
So
Steve Ditko did Spider-Man. What's up?
We're going over properties that they created that should get movies or TV shows.
Gotcha.
And then Friday, I will be back to at 10 o'clock Central. I will be back to Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
Don't know where I pulled Bard's Tale out of memory. That's
because you're on the stream with me. I'm sitting right next to it. So
I think it's Bard's Tale. Yeah.
John, I might have to get with you and get you to make a new character and run me around.
Okay. We're talking online play there. Look out. Trust me, he's got more than one character going. Yeah.
I've got two. I've got one I'm playing off screen that's a
the filthy one.
Dragon.
Filthy one?
Yeah. Well, the test one.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's the one I'm going, but I'm not going to some of the same places. But yeah, I ran into that last night.
It sure looks like a big world, dude.
It is. It's huge. We're still in the first. We're still in the first act.
I know. It's crazy. So, all right. Well, thanks, John. Of course, you can see him every Wednesday over here when he's not busy, and I love having him. Thanks for coming, John. Martin, my friend, finally got to see you on the stream. Tell us what's going on with you.
Finally, no. I've been here before.
I know, but it's been a long time, pal.
His memory's gone bad.
Well, tomorrow, as you know, I will be helping Das Wolfen and Keith to show their greatness and being awesome in our show, the morning coffee with Keith on Pop Culture Minefield.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is one topic in which I just stay silent at the back, pressing buttons and learning a lot.
Yeah, you're like me on this show. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I'm glad you showed up, man. And look, you're always welcome here. You come by anytime you want to. I know you love Star Wars, and we look, as long as that guy that's screened right to me is on this show, we're going to be talking about Star Wars. Don't worry about that. Matt, tell him what's going on with you, man.
Just support everybody on the panel, and John, Jub, sorry. Jub, and I've been trying to set out your channel on some different streams I've hopped on. John Graber's channel talks a lot of entertainment, and so forth. And anyway, just if you're a big fan of politics, you do have two choices tonight. You can watch, 15 people on a stage say all the right things and try to be polished, or you can watch Trump and Tucker.
You can watch Tucker and Trump on Twitter. What's up, man? I'm gonna watch both as soon as we get off of here. I've got my steak, and I'm gonna go check that out. Jed's internet's been in and out. If he gets it going, they're supposed to do a political show on Rumble, which that's the place to do it. Don't do it here on YouTube. You may get struck and never come back. But it's going to be interesting to see the fallout of that stuff. And me and Danny will definitely be talking about it tomorrow night. Thanks for coming, Matt.
For tomorrow to talk about with.
We got plenty to talk about tomorrow night. That's Trump, for sure. Yeah. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on that show tomorrow during the day. No doubt about that. I'm going to have clips out the ass for that shit. Let me tell you.
Maybe a mugshot.
Yeah. You know it. Maybe a mugshot. No shit. But anyway, listen, Matt, thanks for coming, man. I love having you. It's a lot of fun every time you're on. Of course, you guys are watching State of the Atmosphere, where we talk about the pop culture stuff in life, the stuff we love. And we do this every Wednesday night at 5:30 p.m. Central for a couple of hours. Come join us and have a good time. We go wherever the chat tells us, man. We have a good time. I come in with a couple of things, and then we go wherever the conversation takes us. As you saw, because as not predicted, we weren't going to be talking about video games tonight. And then tomorrow night, that's where you're going to hear all about the debate and the Trump interview and all that good stuff. The Brothers Hack the Matrix. That's the political show I do. I do it with my brother Daniel. We're both ex-military. We both have very strong opinions about politics because we live in a country where you can speak your mind. Even though it is YouTube, we do have to curb it a little bit, but we do let you know what's going on behind today's headlines every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then you can watch me sketching The Privateer, my comic book I've been writing for a very long time. Bringing it to life is a slow process. Let me tell you, it's hard to find time to work on it, but we're finding the time every Saturday to show you what I'm doing live. And we do that at Saturday afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. And then Mondays, I'm on Pop Culture Minefield, whether it's this show with Gary from Morning Coffee. As soon as we get him back on, we're going to do Last Samurai. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him. He's still in the hospital with a foot injury, but I hear good news that he may be getting out this weekend. I hope he does. You guys, whether you pray or send out positive vibes, definitely send them out to Gary. We want to see him back streaming as soon as he can. And that's at 10 a.m. on Monday mornings. We get together on Pop Culture Minefield. And then this Monday at 4 p.m., Canon Film Club. And Jed, if you're watching, even though your internet's in and out, if you're watching us on the phone, I did reach out to him. I did reach out to that 70s rock fan to try and get you on this show. He said it's a full panel, but he's going to reach out to you. It may happen, may not, don't know yet, but he's going to reach out to you to get that, let you know what's going on with that. The Canon Film Club is going to talk all about Masters of the Universe, the Dolph Lundgren classic, this Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time on that 70s Rock Fans channel. And then, of course, I start my streaming week now at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Mondays with Knights of the Old Republic. Knock just wanted to get involved and watch me struggle the way I struggle with video games. But it's Papa Joe Gamer After Dark, a special edition of the walkthrough of Knights of the Old Republic every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time for a couple of hours. And then I do my regular show on Tuesday evenings, actually night, at 10 p.m. Central Time. Papa Joe Gamer After Dark. And this time around, if I've got I don't have it. I think I've decided I'm going to do Fable 3. We're going to do Fable 3 this time around. I've been doing a walkthrough of it. I think we're doing part 6 this week on Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Central. So, you guys check out Ahsoka. It's not the greatest, but it's better than most of the stuff they've been putting out. I can tell you that. And hopefully it gets better. It's going a little slow right now, but from all accounts, it's kind of a Rebels reunion. They're letting us know what's going on with those characters now, and it's the mad dash to get to Admiral Thrawn. Find out what's going on with that. So, for the panel, Knock, Das Wolfen, Martin Acosta, Santana, and Small Time Republic. I want to thank you guys for being here. And until we see you again, I want you to keep on keeping on. God bless.
Man, I can't wait to see the clone Jar Jar Binks next week on Ahsoka. Oh, it's gonna be so
I'm telling you, Jar Jar is going to be the Sith Jar